Thank you.
I have a question for you. When you evaluate your system, what influence is it that is going to help you make an informed decision on how to vote?
150 million Americans.
Okay, so what was the first part? Sorry.
None.
When you make any decision
Wow.
on your
Wow, that's ignorant.
How making their money?
What is it? See, here's my theory on this. There's two types of business people. There's entrepreneurs, and then there's capitalists. The entrepreneurs know how to start a business. They understand how the business works. They understand every facet of the business. They sell it to a capitalist who doesn't really understand it. They hire consultants, and they hire marketing, and they hire this, and it grows, and it grows, and it grows, and it grows. And when then they leave, another guy comes in, and they don't really know how it works. They don't know how to create the jobs. All they know how to do is run the corporation, increase the profits, raise the money, hurt the people. That's it. And it's not all corporations. See, I actually believe that competition is good. Competition drives innovation. Competition drives a lot in the United States. I agree with a lot of the capitalistic principles, but ultimately, it needs regulation.
How do
It
you
needs
think
restriction.
how do you think this mob is going to distinguish between a good corporation and a big bad evil corporation when 99% of the corporations out there are doing the right thing?
Right, it's the 1%.
Now, how do you stop that? How is a mob like this going to help solve that problem?
Your definition of mob is a little different than mine.
Okay.
But this is to drive the discussion. This is to get the politicians to look and listen and talk about it. It's not a mob. They're not anarchists. We're not socialists. All we want is rational conversation. That's it.
Look, flag upside down. These are not flag.
Yeah, you can pick
These
that
are
one
flag
guy.
Burners. Yeah,
Sure.
I could look at any posters out here and see all these people hate the American way. I saw a poster.
What is the American way?
The American way is American exceptionalism.
The American exceptionalism. That might have worked in the 30s. That does not work now. It is a global economy.
Or the reason it doesn't work now is because in the 30s you had a president who believed that spending money that we didn't have was a good idea to solve that problem. America was so wealthy then that they got away with it. And now His Honor, the dear leader, wants to do it again, only we don't have the money. And so now what we're doing is driving ourselves into debt because we've spent it with debt.
We spent it all. No, I'm sorry. We took the taxes that were in place for these 400 people and gave them back. And then 10 years later, what the hell? Where's the money? We went into Iraq. We went into Afghanistan. Like, the money didn't disappear. The money was spent.
The need to defend ourselves is greatly overrated.
Are you familiar with the military budget in comparison to the rest of the budget?
Let's hear. Compared to entitlements, let's hear that.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about baby boomers, for instance. Baby boomers have gotten everything they've ever wanted from the time they were kids all the way up through, and now, what they do, as they're waning in political influence and they're starting to retire, one more stick. Listen, let's keep our entitlements. Let's keep everything that we got. Screw the little man. Let's get rid of public education.
Why should I pay for their mistakes?
Why should you pay for their mistakes?
You are the class warfare.
Right.
No. Class warfare started 30 years ago. Okay, this is not class warfare. This is the product of class warfare
now.
Well, first it was economic. Now it's generational. We're going to blame the baby boomers. Yeah, and so why should a public education system that's obviously failed? So you've got people who don't know how to create their own jobs, who don't know how to be entrepreneurs. And yet, like my friend who's got a master's degree in English from the great University of North Carolina, and what's she doing right now? She's working as a barista. You know what? Whose fault is that? Is that this big evil system, or is it the crappy education she got?
Let's talk about it. Okay, so corporations. You guys love talking about how universal health care will just bankrupt the country and yada yada yada. Let's talk about competition. Okay, if a company is deciding they want to move to North America, are they going to put a business in Toronto or in Michigan? Because in Toronto, they're not going to have to pay for the health care. They're not going to have to
do it because just health care.
No, but that's a huge part of it. Right. That's a huge part of it. They're looking at numbers, just like all you capitalists
like to
look
up
at
streets of Detroit, making them, and then making farmland out of part of the city because people flee.
They're deconstructed.
It's been under a Democratic or liberal control for many years. You're saying that that's good.
No. They've lost jobs. They're coming back. Look at the economy in Michigan right now.
If they lowered minimum wage, then maybe they'd come back.
So get rid of minimum wage. That would be
what is the race to the bottom? The race to the bottom in the world, right? So we're competing. We're competing right now for labor with Bangladesh, with China. That doesn't make any sense. Aren't we better than that? Isn't it American exceptionalism? Why do we want to depress our wages so much?
No, we increase our wages. And
it's inflation.
No wonder we go.
It's a market economy where it makes more sense to them just to give up on America.
Give up on America. No, it's cheaper.
It's cheaper.
To raise their income or salaries.
It's cheaper to go to Bangladesh, to go to China, to go to all these third world countries for labor, right? So why would we compete with that? Why would we compete with that? That doesn't make sense. Yeah. Why would we compete with labor of third world countries? That doesn't make any sense. We need to higher education. Education is it.
Education was the issue for years and years and years, and it still sucks.
Right.
They didn't fire any teachers in New York City, maybe one in the last 15 years. And you're sitting there saying that's a great system?
I have no idea if they've only fired one teacher in the past 15 years in New York. That doesn't sound right.
What's the how many government workers have been laid off in the last in this recession in the state of North Carolina?
Right. Now, if you look at the job numbers from last month, and you look at the amount of people that lost because of the government jobs that were cut, and then the amount of private companies that gained jobs, like if we wouldn't have cut those government jobs, we actually would have hit the 2% that we're looking for.
Well, I'm sorry, say it again. If we hadn't cut those government jobs, what?
It would have grown. It was stagnant last because we lost about an equal number that we gained. The public jobs, the government jobs are the ones that we lost. Private ones are the ones that we gained.
Let's do a reality check. Do you agree with Pelosi that increasing unemployment compensation is creating a job?
Let's talk about that.
No,
Unemployment
yes or no?
No. You can't. Unemployment
Can't give a straight answer.
No. Because there's not a yes or no question. Like this is what unemployment insurance is for. Unemployment insurance is for the people that actually need it. When you guys talk about the individual welfare mama or the one that abuses, that's not the reality. That's not the majority.
It's the 1% that give the other 99% such a bad name.
Yeah.
That's not the majority of people that need it.
The government ought to hire all 15 million unemployed people.
Did what?
Jesse Jackson Jr. came out yesterday and said the government should hire all unemployed people for $40,000.
That's the logical extension of what you're saying.
$5 billion.
No, it's not. Because I don't agree with that. So it's not the logical extension of what I'm saying. Unemployment insurance, a strong social safety net is what we need. Okay? If you want competition, if you want entrepreneurs, if you want people to be educated to start their own business and to really motivate, competition will do that. Okay? If you don't have a strong social safety net, if you don't have something that people can take a risk and still fall down and land on their feet, they're never going to do it. There's way too much trepidation to do that.
Oh, it's like training wheels. Ultimately, the only way my son learned to ride a bicycle is we had to ditch the training wheels.
Yes.
And so there has to be a sense of...
That's a very good analogy.
It's panic to survive as a business.
Panic, that's falling into the social safety net. Not having a social safety
that's
net.
finding out.
Not having a social safety net is not panic. It's a death sentence.
I guess we're going to disagree on what a social safety net is viable. Because too much of it creates a hammock.
I agree with that. Too much of it does create a hammock. But we don't have too much of it right now.
You look at what these people nationally are supporting, and they want, a good paycheck for anyone, for everybody? I have to, because this movement, just like the Tea Party, has a central idea, which is the Constitution.
No.
Okay, in my opinion, that's what it is.
Sure.
And in my opinion, what these people are, their central idea is destroying corporations, is redistribution of wealth to the non-producers.
Right, so that's not what it's about. This is not about the Constitution. Okay?
I know it is.
And
not.
I don't even think the Tea Party.
True, amen, brother.
I don't think the Tea Party was about the Constitution.
Really?
It's about corporate money out. Corporate money out of politics.
Well, I'm a Tea Party organizer in North Carolina. There's over 50 of them, and they're all about the Constitution. So we didn't receive a single dime from Coke. So
corporate money out of politics. We can agree on that on both sides. That's what this is about.
There's a lot of similarities between this these events, and the Tea Party.
I agree.
But we are believing that it comes from the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. That's where the answer comes.
I understand the difference, though. It doesn't matter. The means, it's the end. Corporate money out of politics.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I'm
Doesn't
suggesting.
matter the means, it's the end. Write that one down there, Mr. TV reporter. So
you can take it to an extreme. You can absolutely take that to an extreme if you want to.
Yeah, it was.
But ultimately, it's corporate money out of politics. It's not Republican. It's not Democrat. It's not conservative. It's not liberal. It's corporate money out of politics. It's ending Citizens United.
How about union money?
Union money. It's all the same. Get money out of politics. Public money out of politics. Billions of dollars are going to be spent in this election. Billions.
But individuals can donate. Because it is true, you can buy your way to the White House now. I mean, you can buy your way anywhere. and that's got to stop.
That's got to stop.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what this movement is about. For me. Now you can point to the extremists, you can point to the people that think all this crazy shit. Ultimately, it's corporate money out of politics. We can agree on that.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we aren't agreeing.
The reason I disagree with you is because unions are getting a free pass. Tax-free organization, unions, these are government employees, they're working against the wishes of the producers of this country. And so the unions are going to do to American government what they've done to the auto industry, what they've done to the steel industry, what they've done to the airline industry. They destroy everything they touch by sucking the lifeblood out of it.
I think that unions are very similar to corporations in that there are some that are good, there are some that are bad. The ones that are bad, the biggest ones that are bad are the ones that create the entire narrative for everyone else. This 1% is the same way. You take that 1% of corporations that does the tax loopholes, that gets all the offshore...
I'm talking about the largest union in America, the SEIU.
Individual unions.
Well, you're saying 1%? No, that's the 99% of the unions. You know, your carpentry union, I don't care about that. But it's the service workers and these people who've been their dupes by this union leadership that are card-carrying Marxists, and they're driving me nuts.
I can't speak to the Marxists, but I can speak to... I think we agree. I think we agree on this. I think we agree that there's a stratification of unions, of corporations, of people, and the top part of all of it, this 1%, whatever you want to call it, this is just a good marketing term, 1%. This 1% is the one that pushes. It's the one that gets the money in politics. That's what's got to stop.
If you destroy your 1%, you will destroy.
I'm not saying destroy. I'm not saying destroy.
Okay.
Listen,
Your
I am not.
Destroyed.
This is what I am doing. I am trying to start the conversation that it is the money. Okay, it is not politics. Like tea parties, this could be the same route. Okay. There are people that are up there talking about some crazy stuff. Anyone can get up and talk. Anyone can get up and talk and say anything. Like that's what this is. If you guys want to get up there and say something, you can.
Yeah.
You can get in line and stop. Listen, I'm part of the General Assembly and the Facilitation Committee, and we had this big long discussion about it last night. Anyone can talk. There's an entire soapbox time period where you can get up and you can espouse your beliefs. But ultimately, what I'm talking about is the money in politics. And it is completely out of hand. Citizens United has absolutely set us on the wrong path. Like, you cannot disagree with that. Unlimited amounts of money in politics.
Well, and we agree with you as long as we agree with you as long as the unions keep their money out as well.
That's fine.
Okay.
I don't care.
That's the big thing.
Money out of politics. Yes.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. When you stop the unions,
Trump is not going to go for it. Trump is not going to go for that.
I don't care about Trump.
Well, he's SEIU.
Look,
he's the head of SEIU. He's going to care about it.
Demonize one particular union.
Yeah.
Don't demonize one particular.
You're getting a flavor for it. That's good.
Yeah.
That's not it. We can agree on the money in politics.
Yeah.
So why don't we take that message? That's my argument. Before we can talk about social,
I agree. Let's get unions out of politics. I agree.
You guys want to see something?